Hello and welcome back to another episode of a Takedown, a Splitting Hairs podcast by Jackrabbit Illustrated. And on this podcast, we focus on South Dakota State Wrestling. Once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Jordan Schoenrock, and today we have special guest, Cael Swensen. Today we're going to talk to Cael and learn who he is. We'll also be recapping the UNC and Air Force duels and be looking ahead to this weekend's duels versus Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. Also, would like to thank our sponsors. We have Drake's Place out in Bottle, South Dakota. They've been a longtime sponsor. Great place to get food, beer, gas. It's so much more than a convenience store in the middle of little town, South Dakota, up on Highway 12. And also Culver's of Brookings in Watertown. Seth's a great guy. Been sponsoring us for a little while, too. So, how you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Cael, how are you doing?
I'm doing good as well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, great to have you.
So, Cael, let's just here at the beginning. Let's just talk about your season here a little bit and tell us how you think it's going and all that.
I think I'm having a pretty good season so far. I've got to wrestle a lot of the best kids in the country. I've already wrestled the number one guy in the country. I think I've had like 4 top 15 matchups already. So got a lot of experience so far, and I just think it's going well, and I got stuff to improve on, but I'm looking forward to the end of the season here.
I mean, I can't say enough good things about your wrestling, Cael. I'm not just trying to blow smoke, but I said it to Jordan here the past couple of duels that we sit up by the other guys kind of, and I'm like, man, is it me or every time Cael go out, he gets better? And we kind of agree on that. You really look good. And so about you, you're redshirt freshman, right?
Yep.
You're from Plymouth, even though you wrestled at Wazetta, right?
Yep.
And for people that don't know, there's just a big road separating the two, basically, right? And Plymouth used to be Plymouth's relatively a new town, I guess. It used to be Minneapolis proper at one time, and they kind of split off from that. So your dad's the coach there, but he's also involved with a lot of different coaching, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that if you could?
Yeah, my dad he coaches my brother and I for high school. He coaches at Wayzata, and then also he helps out with Minnesota USA Wrestling, so coordinating like junior duels, cadet duels, schoolboy duels, all that stuff. And then he's helped coach like all those teams that we've been on. And then he's also helps coach at Fargo Nationals, freestyle and Greco in the summer. Mm-hmm. So he just loves wrestling and loves coaching my brother and I, but I can't really get him away from the mat. That's really what he loves.
And he bleeds blue and yellow, right? There's no red in that family.
No.
I did listen to an interview, and there's some ties to Vermilion, huh?
Yeah, my mom went to USD, and then my mom and dad met, and then he went to I think grad school at USD.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. That's pretty cool. So kind of got South Dakota. And your grandparents still in the area, right? Somewhere in South Dakota?
They live in Hecla. So
Hecla. Oh, okay.
North. Sure, that's north, right?
Yeah. No, that's Britt and Hecla are right there, and that's where Dallas Goddard's from. So I'm sure you'll be seeing him probably on Sunday, huh?
Yep. Family dinner.
So in high school, you were a 5-time all-conference honoree and then a 4-time AAA state placer, and that equated to 2 state championships at 138 in 2020 and 152 in 21. Just kind of walk us through your high school career and how you got to them and accomplished that.
So I wrestled in 7th and 8th grade and for varsity as well. And 7th grade, maybe looking back on it, maybe I would have done it a little bit differently, like going to Virginia Beach, wrestling like on national teams and stuff, and just done middle school wrestling because I weighed like 93 pounds and I was wrestling 106. So, yeah, maybe I would have done it different, but 8th grade, then I got a little bit bigger. I probably weighed like 100, 105. So I was able to compete. I could have made it to state. I kind of just got bullied a little bit by an older kid, and so I couldn't make it. But then freshman year, I was finally big enough for 106, and I had a tough bracket, and I thought I wrestled well. I thought it was pretty cool wrestling the XL Energy Center, and then I just kept working, kept improving, and then I jumped all the way up to 120, and I thought I was going to go 13, but then after a couple times trying to get down, I realized 120 would be a better weight for me. And I was working really hard my sophomore year. I think maybe I overtrained a little bit. I was doing a lot of extra stuff with David Thorne. Wrestled for the Gophers, and I got a lot better at wrestling. I just don't know if I cut weight right, or I don't know. So I was the 2 seed, and I ended up taking 5th my sophomore year, and that kind of lit a fire in me. I was really upset about it. And then junior year, bumped all the way up to 138, and I kind of just had a chip on my shoulder. I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to feel like I did again. And yeah, I kind of just dominated all season. I had one loss. I was to Ryan Sokol of Simley, and yeah, I mean, back in the day when we were kids, he probably beat me 10 times, and it was always just he handled me. So then I competed with him a little bit my junior year, and it kind of like proved to myself that I could compete with the best guys. And then COVID happened, obviously. And I think when a lot of guys were taking time off from the sport, I didn't. I was wrestling with my brother every day, doing weight stuff, conditioning stuff, stance and motion. Just really didn't take a break. And then senior year came around, and I went to Super 32 before season, and I placed there. And then I was like, damn, like I'm there with the best guys in the country. And it motivated me. It didn't like, I didn't take my foot off the gas. Like I just kept working hard because I wanted to be the number one guy. And season came around, and I kept grinding. Then I got a chance to wrestle Sokol again, and I was really motivated for that. And I ended up beating him. And I'm actually really close with Ryan. Like we have grown up together. And so it was kind of like a rivalry, but not really, because he beat me every time. So I guess I probably had a little more motivation than he did, but I got that win, and that made me want to work even harder. Like I just wanted to keep going. I still had that chip on my shoulder from like sophomore year. I thought I was getting overlooked in the state of Minnesota. I wanted to prove I was the best. So I'm glad I finished my senior year out strong. It was a little bit unique because I think South Dakota, they had a normal state tournament by senior year, but we were in a gym in St. Michael High School. I'd wrestled there 3 weekends in a row. I wrestled team sections, individual sections, 4 weekends in a row, team sections, individual sections. And then we did like a state prelim thing because they bumped us down from a 16-man bracket to an 8-man bracket. So then we did state prelims and then the state tournament. And we wrestled our state tournament on like a Thursday. And it was all one day, and we were in a gym. You were held in a back like field house, and then you went through this. They had this little like chute, and you go out and you wrestle your match, and they'd escort you right off. And it didn't feel like a state tournament at all. Like it was really hard. And I wish it could have been in the Xcel Energy Center, but yeah, I had a good tournament leading up to it. And then my younger brother made the state finals that year also. And I wish I wouldn't have watched his state finals match because he went into like triple overtime or the last overtime. And I was so engaged in it. I felt like I lost a lot of energy. I was really nervous because I know how hard he works and I know his goals. And I really wanted both of us to win it in our only year wrestling together. So, yeah. And then I think I wrestled a little bit nervous. It just didn't feel right. Didn't feel normal. But I finished out strong. I got the win in overtime against a really good competitor, but don't think it should have been that close. And then again, didn't really take a break. I might have taken a week off and hung out with my friends because I was really nervous about COVID. Like you get exposed, you're done. Like it's like 2 or 3 weeks you're off the mat, and I just didn't want to take that risk. So I kind of isolated myself, didn't see my friends. I took a week off. I hung out with my friends, just kind of was being a kid. And then right after that, I was right back to work. I went junior duels. I did world team trials, junior duels, and then Fargo, and had a pretty good summer. And then I got up to Brookings and then got right back to work.
So that's probably a good segue. Why Brookings?
Really love the coaches. They showed a lot of loyalty in me. They started recruiting me when a couple other schools had reached out. Like the U of M was always reaching out to me just because I was 20 minutes away. But I feel like the coaches here really put a lot of time and energy into recruiting me and made me feel like I could be the guy here. Like I could be a real big impact. And I don't want to talk bad about the Gophers at all because I got a lot of respect for them. But I just feel like I felt like I wasn't needed there. I felt like it wasn't going to be a top priority there. And here the coaches were all invested in me right away. So I really like that. And then another thing is I didn't want to be in Minneapolis. I mean that city's scary sometimes. So yeah, it's a little bit different, change of pace here.
If you're from out here, YZ is already the cities. You know, it's the cities, not. Yeah. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, the coaching staff's great. Did you have much action with Luke at all, Zilverberg? Because there's some connections there too, right?
Yeah. So his cousin David was our youth club coach for freestyle, and I wrestled with him quite a bit. And he was a Gopher, and he really was pushing for me to go to the U. And then I got out here and met Zilvi a couple times and wrestled with him a lot. And Zilvi's he's really outgoing. He wants the best for everybody, and I really like him. He's a good coach.
So,
definitely.
Just for the record, I think I'm right. You beat Minnesota this year, right? In the duel?
No. Oh, me personally or the team?
Yeah. You personally.
You personally.
Yeah, I won my match.
Yep.
That's a duel that we should have got, actually.
In duels.
Yeah. I wish they would have wrestled Brayton Lee because freshman year, my first ever college tournament, I wrestled him in the semifinals, and I lost 3-1, I think. But it got a little bit chippy, and I remember I said some things, and I was going to hold up my end. I said to the coaches, I said, by next year, I'm beating him. And, yeah, I wanted to prove it. I wanted to show that I could do it, but they didn't wrestle him. That kind of bugged me a little bit. But
they're scared of you already running from you.
Yeah.
Well, having great coaches can make a heck of a difference, and sounds like having your dad was a big deal there. And I'm assuming there's some wrestling mats in your basement somewhere in your house. In your
Yeah, my
garage?
garage, yeah.
It's a garage or a basement always, right?
Yeah.
Were you shooting on a pole or something when you were growing up, or how'd you do your drills?
I actually grew up when I first started wrestling was in Florida. I lived in Florida for 10 years. And then we were really close with this family, and they had a son that's my age and around my size. And so when the high school practice was going, our dads would pick us up from preschool or kindergarten or whatever, bring us there, and we'd be off in a corner just wrestling around while the high school practice was going on. So that's how I started wrestling. And then I don't know, like I've just been
wrestling your whole life.
Yeah, there's
literally.
pictures of me like as a newborn in a singlet at a wrestling tournament, and I'm on the mat. Like, yeah, I've just been around it my whole life.
Yeah, it's kind of a family ordeal for you.
Yeah,
for sure. Jordan?
So you're if I'm right, your brother's Logan, right?
Mhm.
Is it Logan? Okay. And he committed to STSU. He'll be here next year, right?
2 years. He's
2
a
years.
junior.
So he's a junior right now.
Yeah.
So you'd be able to get to wrestle together then, right? Being a
Yeah.
redshirt freshman, you got
For 2 years, I believe we'll have, right? Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years you'll have.
Yeah. So how much pressure did you put on him to really kind of sway him to SDSU to get here?
To be honest with you, I really didn't. I wanted him to do what he wanted. I thought the recruiting process was really stressful, and what I took away from it was I just wanted to do what like I want to do. I wanted to go with my gut, and so I kind of wanted my brother to do that. I told him, I was like, I'd love to be on the same team as you in college. Like, I think you could do great things here. But I kind of stayed out of it. I made sure he knew that I wanted him to come here, but I wasn't texting him every day like you're coming here, you're doing this. Like, I let him have his visits. Like, I didn't get to go on visits because of COVID, and
right.
I feel like that's a really cool experience to have. So he got to go out to a couple schools. He got to go out to like Princeton, and I mean, why not? That's like kind of a cool experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted him to do what he wanted to do, make a big boy decision. Like, mom and dad can't choose for you. I can't choose for you. Like, you do what you want.
So you said the recruiting was stressful. When you say that, I think you're talking about overall and maybe having to make that decision being younger. But what I'm hearing between the lines is it seemed like you felt at ease and comfortable with the staff that you're with, right? I mean, that was part of the decision.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I just
less stressful there, maybe.
Yeah. It really like weight off my shoulders when I called Damien, was like, "Hey, I'm going to be a Jackrabbit." Like, that just took all like the pressure, because you never know, like, you could go somewhere and it just doesn't work out. Especially now, you see so many guys in the transfer portal, and I didn't want to do that. Like, I wanted to really take my time, and so that's probably why it was stressful, because it's like you're going to make a decision about where you're going to be for 5 years. But I knew every day I did this thing. I had a sheet of my top schools, and whatever I woke up and thought where I was going to end up, I'd do a tally. And by the end of the week, whatever school had the most, that's kind of how I picked. And it wasn't really close. It was SDSU, like, by a landslide. But
you don't have to share this if you don't want to, but what were your top schools?
It's not South Dakota, and then
what? South Dakota State.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's a USD joke, right? Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
With the family.
I'll just say South Dakota and Minnesota, because those are probably the two I was considering. South Dakota State and Minnesota. Sorry.
I'm just giving you a hard time. What do How about Brookings? How do you like Brookings? I mean, I see Brookings more small town than Wayzata and Plymouth, I guess, especially. But I guess it's kind of like Wayzata a little bit. Wayzata. My sister-in-law is from Wayzata, and my brother got married over there, so I'm not sure I say that right, but anyway, I'm not that Minnesotan. What do you think of the town? How do you like Brookings?
I like the community. I like the community here. Everyone's really involved with sports. I want to push the South Dakota State fans though to get bigger crowds.
Yeah,
at the duels, but I think we do a good job. I think we have a great atmosphere, great environment. But yeah, I mean, it's nice. You can drive from one end of Brookings to the other end in 5-10 minutes. Like Plymouth, Wayzata, Minneapolis, so many people. It takes a long time. So I guess that's nice. But sometimes I wish there was a little more to do. But I'm busy. I'm kept busy anyway.
With his comment about attendance, we all know I love my attendance rant. I was pointed out to me by somebody the other day that they asked me if I remembered what it was like when I first started going to SDSU duels. And my comment was, well, yeah. They're like, what was it like? There was all general admission. We averaged maybe 150. If we had 200 people in the stands, it was a big crowd that night. And fast forward it now to, that was about 2015. So 7 years, and we are where we are. Like another 7 years, and I think we'll have First Bank in Arena sold out, hopefully.
Especially if we keep climbing the rankings and doing what we're supposed to do.
Well, yeah. I know the last big year of the last coach, Frost was really full. I don't know what happened to cause the dip because our teams are as good, if not better now than they were before. It's a sore spot for both Jordan and I. Some of it, I think Sundays is a bad day for duels. You know, noon duels on Sundays are hard to get people to show up for. So, I mean, I got to drive up from Sioux Falls. I basically got to skip out on church to do it. So,
yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest downfall that we had, to be honest with you, about attendance from the last coach to this coach was when the cupboards were bare and there was 15 wrestlers in the room.
Yeah, that hurts.
That 1 year really hurt us, I feel like. And now we're definitely getting that back. And I don't know. I personally am hoping over 2,000 on Friday night.
Yeah, I think it'll be a big deal. People in South Dakota, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump over top you, but people in South Dakota know Oklahoma State's a perennial powerhouse. I mean, it's not Iowa and Minnesota in the fact that it's not next door, but as far as the quality of wrestling, it's right there with those two schools.
I was thinking, and I think this is probably people are going to tell me no, it's not, but I think that was actually the biggest letdown ever when Iowa came to SDSU that time to wrestle, just because we hyped it up so much of Seth and whoever the number one kid for Iowa was at the time and everything, and then they didn't wrestle that kid. So there was 4,000 people that showed up to watch a wrestling match that didn't even get to see the match. And I think that was let down. I think this Oklahoma State duel on Friday night is the biggest wrestling duel we've probably ever had in Frost Arena with South Dakota State Wrestling. And I think there's a lot of people that know that and understand that.
And against Jordan's favorite coach. So tell me a little bit about like a favorite story of yours that you've had thus far up there at Brookings. Could be something funny, could be a teammate, could be a coach. You could leave names out if you need to. I know wrestlers are a crazy bunch, right? So
I gotta think of one here.
Yeah. I'll give you some time to think about that. Maybe Jordan will have a question while you think on that.
While you think on that one, I'll ask you, who, I don't want to say favorite coach, but what coach do you work the most with in the room, or which coach do you think is the most important to your progression so far at SDSU?
I work a lot with Brady.
That's what
We're close in size, so we can wrestle. Like we wrestled today at practice. He just, I mean, I see a lot of value in. He was in the Penn State room for 5 years. Like he was learning from one of the best. So if he can bring a Penn State style like to me and I can start incorporating that, like that's huge. So I really like working with Brady. He's got a lot of he's really, really knowledgeable. Yeah, I think my wrestling has, I don't know, it's gotten so much better just in I would say just from summer to now. Like I'm getting good really fast, and I hope I can just keep growing and keep getting better.
Well, like I said earlier, I think it's been obvious during the season, your maturation, like how much better you've become as a wrestler. As far as Brady's style, what would you say is his forte? Is it hand fighting, vertical, on top, bottom? Where does he shine the most? I mean, I know he's good at everything, but
yeah, hand fighting.
Hand fighting. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
He's got some crazy hand fighting. Like I've just tried to copy exactly what he does or what he teaches me. I just try and use it, and it's crazy. Like when you use that stuff, use the hand fighting techniques, how you can move a guy, and you don't even like lose energy or use energy. Like you can just break a kid using your hands, and you're not even getting tired, and they're getting exhausted, and then it makes everything so much easier. I think the best example is against the Wyoming kid that I wrestled. I just kept my hands on him and kept moving my hands and snapping him down, moving forward. And in the first period, I got in on a deep shot, and he stopped it pretty easy. And then third period comes along, and I move my hands quick, fire off an attack, and finish relatively easy. Like just when you move forward and use your hands, like you can break kids, and that's what's fun.
Yeah, I was going to ask a follow-up on that, whether or not he ever uses that to maybe mentally distract you, and then, next thing you know, like, oh, what happened? Here he is in deep on me, and I was still focused on hand fighting.
Yeah, today we did some live goes in practice, and he was hand fighting me, moving my head around. I reached up, and when I reached up, he dropped right under me and had me up in the air in a double leg, and I was like, it was so fast. It was so fast.
I've been there. What just happened? How did I end up on my back?
Yeah, I went up to Damien today in the break. I went up to Damien, and I'm like, Damien, tell me something to try on him. I'm shooting. I'm just getting stuffed, and he's just moving my head around. And then Damien told me to try something. And right when Cody blew the whistle, I hit his head and shot in right away. I was like, I'm going to catch him off guard. And then I don't know if you know the roll that Jason Nolf used to do, that Winn-Dixie. Mm-hmm. As soon as I came up out the back door, he Winn-Dixied me to my back and put me on my back. I was like, you slimy.
We do have a question here, if you don't mind asking a write-in question here. Brexton Roth asks, Cael, do you ever wrestle Tanner Cook in practice? And if so, do you dare take a shot on him? That's a fair question, I think.
So I did. I wrestled Tanner a bunch of times this year, and it was like a joke.
To be fair, he's a bit bigger than you, right?
Yeah, but it's like one weight class, so it's not. Yeah, but we were wrestling, and we were doing long goes that day or something. We did a bunch of live that day, and I was his partner, and it was like we had a quick break, and I was getting a drink, and I looked at someone, and it's like, for every 4 times I get pinned, I get 1 takedown. And it was like, I just was trying to get on his leg because he sticks it out like he's baiting me to shoot. And I'm like, I'm going to figure out how to stop this. And then he would just pop his hips quick. And it wasn't all like that elevator he does. He's a really good scrambler too. And he just finds a way to put you on your back. And once he gets you on your back, it's really hard to get off. I don't think I ever got off without getting pinned. But yeah, I was just trying to figure out how to do it. And I actually, like, for every 4 times I got pinned, I would get a takedown.
I think that might count as your story unless you thought of some other one. So
I got a good one. I got a nickname on the team, and it's more last year than this year, but it was my nickname was Hothead because I'm super competitive. Like, I don't want to lose in anything. And we sometimes play games before practice. And I think we were playing towers or maybe handball or something. And my team was just getting smoked. And so then I was like, all right, I'm going to take over. And I started getting a little too rough. And I just wanted to win. And I started trash talking, getting rough. And then I got put in the penalty box and kicked out of the game. And then that made me mad. So then practice came around and I was wrestling someone. I'm not going to use names, but I was wrestling someone and we were going live and things started to get a little bit chippy. And I started to get rough and I started shooting double legs. And I would, instead of like trying to like pick them up and finish, I would just drive my feet like a football tackle and put them into the wall. And then once I got them on the wall, then I'd pick them up. And so then I got in trouble and I got the nickname Hothead, and it's kind of stuck. But yeah, that's a funny. Now that I talked about that, I got a bunch of stories. I got a bunch of nicknames on the team.
sounds like you earned them.
I've always known you as Swen's dog.
Yeah, so I got Swen dog. Cam calls me Swenesy sometimes. The nickname Jeb, Hothead. Yeah.
Jeb, that one maybe has a story.
Yeah, it does, because Sam Kruger on the team last year, I had really shaggy hair. And we were sitting around. I'm like, I got to schedule a haircut. And Sam's like, I'll cut your hair. And I was like, oh, you know how to cut hair? And he goes, yeah, dude, my mom has a barbershop in the house. And I didn't ask. I was like, just took that as, oh, yeah, he knows how to cut hair. So then we went into the basement of the dorm and he starts cutting my hair. He's like using a razor. And then he gets to my bangs and he grabs my bangs and starts cutting straight across. And I like grabbed his hand and I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he goes, I don't know how to cut hair. And so then I had a horrible, horrible haircut. It was like shaved on one side. The other side had long hairs. Like I wore a hat for months. Yeah, it was brutal. And I don't know how the name Jeb came to be, but that's what it was.
That's a real good story.
Yeah.
So we had Kay DeVos on a couple weeks ago, and he was kind of talking about weight cutting and things like that he does. And he said that he likes to take shots of honey, just pour it in his mouth or whatever about 20 minutes before a match. Is there anything like that you like to do, or any tips that you do to keep your energy level up when you're cutting weight?
I don't think Brady likes it, but I'll get like a Reign energy drink, and I'll do liquid IV, Powerade water, and then like a bagel, fruit snacks, Cliff Bar. I'll eat that after weigh-ins, but then like around 30 minutes before the duel, I'll drink like half of a Reign. So it'll get me like, I'll start like sweating and get really like jittery. But yeah, that's what I do to keep my energy up.
What's your flavor?
Is
it like cotton candy? Or what? No, they call it carnival candy. I'm sorry.
I like the white gummy bear or rainbow sherbet.
Nice. Yeah, that stuff's bad for you. I quit drinking them. I was drinking like 4 a day.
It's ridiculously
bad for you.
Yeah, I try not to drink them that much. I'll drink if we got morning lift. I gotta do it though, or else I'll waste the first couple reps or sets of something. I gotta be awake and ready to go.
You don't have any of that no explode or whatever. That stuff's supposed to get a guy amped up too. I don't know if that you guys can even do that stuff. I don't know. I'm not a collegiate wrestler, so I'm not gonna get you in trouble. So you wrestled when you're really young, and your dad was talking. Did you really wrestle like 100 matches a year when you were younger? Did you wrestle that much?
Yeah, in Florida, it was so hard to find matches because youth wrestling just wasn't really big. So I would wrestle like 30 matches a year. Then we moved up to Minnesota, and I went to Apple Valley for the first part of my youth career, and or the end part of it, I guess. But yeah, these kids, my friends on the team, they'd wrestle like 150 matches a year, and I was like, what? And literally they were going to Friday. There was Friday night youth tournaments, Saturday night youth tournaments, Sunday night, or not Sunday, but then there was like youth dual tournaments at Fargo. Just we were competing all the time. Like we just try to get as many matches as we could, and I got like 100 in fifth grade, 100 in sixth grade. I went to Tulsa preseason nationals, postseason nationals, just wrestled all the time.
It's a lot of wrestling.
It is.
Do you ever feel like you get burnt out, or you need to step back and take a break?
No, I think that's an excuse, to be honest with you. I mean, it depends. I love it, so it doesn't really affect me. But I think people could get more burned out if they're not training right. I feel like that's how you get burnt out. But if you're training right and you love to win and love competing, like I just like competing. Like I feel I get really bored, and I get burnt out more if I'm not competing. If I'm just practicing and practicing and practicing and not getting to go and perform, like that's what bores me. I just love to compete. I want to compete in everything. So,
What would you say was the biggest difference from your true freshman year to your redshirt freshman year?
I cleaned up my diet, cleaned up my sleep schedule. I got stronger. I worked hard in the summer. I went from like weighing 160 pounds to weighing like, I think the heaviest I hit was like 172. So I got bigger, and then just like confidence, like I wanted to be the guy, so I'm gonna go do it. And then I worked with Brady all summer. Worked with I still work with Brady. I don't know. I just think I'm a lot more confident this year than I was last year, and I'm stronger. And when I get the results like I am, like it's just proving that I'm made jumps in my game. And yeah, I would just say I'm just gotten a lot more confident, to be honest.
Shows.
Yeah, it does. And looking at your season, you're 18-5 on the season. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
And your only 5 losses come to get. Just let me go here and stop me if I get it wrong. But first of all, you lost 7-2 to Peyton Robb. He's number 1 in the country, right? Will Luan, 3-2. He's number 8 in the country. Ed Scott, number 6 in the country, 4-0. Trevor Chumley, 6-2. He's number 13 in the country. And then down in Iowa, you wrestled that Jacob Wright, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he got you 4-3. And I know you got the redemption. That was the my time, right? That was excellent, by the way. As a fan, I loved that. So you're right there. I don't see any reason why you can't AA. Don't you think you're right there? You get better every match, continue to improve. You're not far away from the top guys. 7-2 to the number 1 guy in the country. Come on, you're right there.
Yeah. I just think, you grow up like watching these guys compete and you see them on TV, you see them on the Big Ten Network. Like I watched them at the NCAAs last year. So it was like, it was good that I wrestled those guys early in the season and like got that experience out of me because like I talked to my dad about it and he was like, you got the matches and you can compete with them. Like maybe you're idolizing them a little too much. Like they're just like you. They want the same thing as you. So who cares? You got to take it from them. And then that kind of just clicked in my head a little bit. Like, yeah, they're trying to take what I want. So
I mean, they put the singlet on the same way as you, don't they?
Yeah. So
right.
So what would you say, like flipped or like that? I know you talked about conversation with your dad right there and some stuff with Brady, but this second half of the semester, you have just, I think you're 10 or 11 wins in a row right now. I know that if the team has won, you've won the duel, or if you won, the team has won the duel. What flipped or what really came on to really boost your confidence in the second half? Would you say?
I don't know. I just think when our team's winning, it makes me more confident too. When I see guys like Sloan, DeVos, AJ, Tanner Cook, it helps you feel a lot better knowing that we're so strong, like in the heavier weights that I don't feel much pressure. So just knowing that those guys are up there just really allows me to just go out and have fun and wrestle and do what I love. And I think I got more confident because I stopped worrying. Like I've wrestled the top guys. It's been close. I know I can beat anyone if I wrestle a good match, wrestle my style. So I just think believing has helped me get more confident. That's probably what's clicked the most.
So you recently moved over to the new wrestling room, right? That's pretty sweet. Is there anything you miss, or do you have a favorite part of the old wrestling room? Like maybe the smell or something?
I will say it's training wise, it's a lot better here having mat space, but I just feel like in that old wrestling room, it was just so gritty. It's like you're just gonna come in here and beat the crap out of each other. Like it was not a good room, but it was like we just worked hard in there. Like we still work hard here, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like
there's no fluff; it's all business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's training wise, it's like really nice not having to worry about anyone falling on top of you in life. Like there's so much space. It's perfect.
Probably hard to get a guy to a wall even.
I stopped doing that. I get in trouble.
I mean, it's a long ways away. Is what I meant by that. Moreover.
So, is there any wrestlers that you have circled that you're looking to wrestle this year, or a rematch that you've already lost? I know Wyoming was probably one of them from your reaction, but is there anybody else that you're really biting at the bit to get to?
I used to do this a lot, like in high school, and I would just look past kids, and I would just want, like, my senior year when I had to wrestle, I knew I was going to wrestle Sokol, so for like 3 weeks ahead of that, I was training for him. I wasn't training for other matches. And I mean, I was good enough that it was okay. Like I wasn't going to wrestle anybody that was going to beat me in that span. But right now I'm just trying to focus on one match at a time. So like the Oklahoma State kid, that's the next one I want. And he's ranked, so it'll be a good match. But yeah, I'm all focused on him right now. And then Saturday, then I'll be all focused on the Oklahoma kid. Like I'm just looking one match at a time, and then by the time Big 12 comes around, then it's going to be a game plan for the first round match, game plan for the second match, game plan for the third. Like just take one match at a time and just wrestle.
I feel like our coaches do a really good job helping our guys game plan for their matches too, don't you?
Yeah. I think it's also a way where it's like, be aware that they do this, but it's not like we're going to change our style. I think I've done a good job about that. I feel like I look pretty consistent when I compete. I'm doing the same things. So it's just more being aware of certain things. And just wrestle your style. I don't really know.
Yeah, being aware of their tendencies. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite meal like in season and like maybe a favorite meal out of season? I was really surprised to hear that you were up to 172 pounds. But yeah, I understand how that works too.
In season, it's more just like I still live in the dorm, so I eat at the dining hall. So probably just get the healthiest thing I could find.
Right.
So I get they have a lot of chicken and rice there, so that's usually what I get. But out of season, it's like all carbs all the time. Spaghetti and meat sauce, potatoes, steak, like all that stuff, and then I'll get on protein 3 times a day, creatine sometimes.
All right.
So we also, in this last week, they also announced that we signed 2 more wrestlers. We signed a 138 pounder from Minnesota, Parker Jensen. He was from St. Michael's, Albertville. He's currently ranked second at 138. He finished second last year in the AAAs in the Minnesota tournament. He's the 12th ranked best pound for pound wrestler in Minnesota by the Guillotine, and that was going into the season. So he should be a good addition. Had you got anything? Did you ever wrestle him or have anything like that you know this kid at all growing up?
He's from St. Michael, and Wyzetta is in the same section as them. So I've seen him wrestle a bunch. He's good. He wrestles hard, and I think he'll really fit in here with the style. I think we're trying to get like a style here where we're moving forward, constantly getting our hands on guys and scoring off of it. I think he'll fit in well with that. He's a gritty wrestler. He's a little bit younger than me, and was lighter than me, so I don't know too much about him. I think maybe he shoots a single leg, but I just know he's a solid wrestler.
So do you guys have much interaction with the incoming the people that are recruiting? Because you were talking about your brother taking an official. Do you guys get a chance to interact with them at all on that?
Yeah, so they usually pick somebody to host the recruit. Okay. Sure. Yeah, so that's how we usually get to meet them. And then what we'll usually do is we'll get all the guys together and maybe put on like a UFC fight or something, because it's on a Saturday usually. And then all of us will watch a UFC fight, and we'll just hang around the kid and basically see if we like him and get along with him, if he's a good kid. That's typically what our job is as a host, is just learn about the kid, see what he likes, see if can interact and make friends on the team, like just how we'll fit in.
So we added one other kid. It's he's from Missoula, Montana, Avery Allen, and he's on his quest for his 4th state championship. I guess that's only happened a couple other times out there. 46-2, 33 pins, 7 techs, 3 majors. He also participated in that Iowa Wrestles. What do they call that? Street fights or whatever. I can't remember the name now. It's escaping me. But did you get a chance to meet Avery Allen?
Yeah, he was up here at the same time as my brother. So I really liked him. He was a good kid. I think he'll do just fine here.
He's about your weight.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's a 45 now, but I think he's wrestled at 57 even.
Yeah. He's a good kid. I like him. He had a good personality. I thought got along with him just fine. We need guys in the middleweights.
Sure. Do you think you're still continuing to grow yourself? I mean, I don't know how you are size wise compared to like your dad or.
I'm probably I got a little bit growing to do. I don't got any facial hair on me. So. But
wait till you're 30, bud.
Yeah. But I think I want to stay at 57.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
That's where you feel comfortable. That's your jam. Well, Jordan, you got anything more?
No, I think we'll head into the recap here and talk about the University of Northern Colorado SDSU duel. We won that duel 23-13. Should have been 24. We unfortunately had a team point taken away because of unsportsmanlike by Han, which, if anybody follows me, I think we can all giggle about that point being taken away. But yeah, but I do have a question on that.
I feel like it was justified. What he did, what Han did was justified. Yeah. I would have done the same thing.
I do have a question here for Cael on this. What, as we're in that UNC duel and we lose the first 4, and to me, I personally didn't think the first 4 wrestled the best. What, like, you just got to worry about yourself. I know when you go out there to wrestle, but how difficult can that be to, like, know that you're the one that has to spark this comeback now because your match means everything right now?
Yeah, it's tough, and I think it definitely affected me. But yeah, it wasn't. I didn't enjoy that duel. They had a unique environment. I don't think we've experienced anything like that before. They had dudes sitting literally like 2 feet away from us, mat side, and they were just saying horrible things to us, and they were wasted, drunk, and yeah, I didn't enjoy that duel at all. Like, we won. It didn't feel like we won, though. Like, it was – I didn't like it. It really makes me upset still thinking about it. I'm glad we got it done, but, yeah, that's a little frustrating how people in wrestling act like that sometimes. I mean, not classy at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that same impression from Berge, Coach Berge on the other podcast when he was with Zilby. Kind of said the same things as you. Our losses were at 125. Jordan lost by decision over 16. Steve-O Poulon. Derek come up short 6-4 in an overtime. Derek Cardinal, at 133 came up short 6-4 in an overtime match. Clay lost a 10-3 decision to Alirez, and them two always are a tough fight there. And Alec also dropped at 149, a 10-2 major to Chris Sandoval. So, yeah, that was kind of a rough start, but then we turn around, right? That's you?
Yeah, and then Cael got us rolling there at 157 and got the 4-2 victory over the 31 ranked kid in the country, Vinny Zerbin. And then Tanner Cook got his default win over Baylor Fernandez, and I think my Twitters did the talking on that for right now. And then
you're Twitter famous in the wrestling world for that, dude.
Yeah. At 174, DeVos got the 2-1 decision over Andrew Barisia. Sorry if I butchered that bad.
Good luck with that one.
At 184, Cade King got the 5-2 decision over Bronson Britton. At 197, Sloan got the pin.
Yeah,
and at 285, AJ got the 8-4 decision also. And once again, that gave us a 24-13 win, but we lost that 1 point at the 165 match to unsportsmanlike. And I think the team...
Yeah, we were the ones that should have lost a point to unsportsmanlike. Anyway, sorry. We don't have to get in that. So the next day the next meet was versus Air Force, and we won that one 26-16. And I don't know what you think, but maybe you can shine some light on this too, Cael. But I feel like top to bottom, Air Force probably actually has a better lineup.
Yeah, they got some good kids. I think their coach said that this was the best team they've ever had. So they were just solid. I mean, they're military kids, so they're gonna wrestle hard. But yeah, I think it was good to get that Northern Colorado match in because it kind of brought us back down to earth a little bit. And yeah, I mean, we just wanted to take care of business and then get the heck out of Colorado.
Yeah, that duel, AJ got teched to the number 6 kid in the country, Wyatt Hendrickson, at 133. Cardinal got teched by the number 21 kid, Cody Fippen. At 49, Alec dropped a 1-3 decision to Dylan Martinez, and at 65, Connor Gaynor got the nod that night, and he dropped an 0-3 decision to Gianna Petrusilia.
Petrosili, yeah. Our wins were the bright spot, obviously. 174, DeVos pins Gage Mauser. 84, Cade King, 4-3 decision over Noah Blake. 97, Sloan, doing what he does best, the 17-0 win Tech over Calvin Sun. Do you get to interact with those heavier weights much at all? Do you get a chance to learn from like a Tanner or just watching his style?
Yeah, it's a little bit different of a style. So I think the guy I talk to most about wrestling is probably DeVos.
Is Cade. Okay.
Yeah, he does a lot of things that I really, really like, and I try and wrestle with him as much as I can. Because sometimes, like, if I know we're going live at practice, I'll like he's pretty big, and I'm shrinking a little bit, so I don't want to. He puts it on me, so I don't want to like make him feel like he's not getting a good practice. So I let him wrestle some bigger guys but when I can wrestle him, I do, because he does a lot of things that I really like, and think I can learn from and implement in my style.
Yeah, Cade's got a ton of potential. Sometimes it feels like he isn't always right where he could be. So then we go on, and Tanner Jordan gets a win over Tucker Owens. Clay wins a 13-7 decision over Carrot Kukan, which is good to see Clay getting some wins. And then, of course, you had the 8-4 decision over Jack Ganos. Is that someone you've wrestled before, or is that the first time wrestling that guy?
That's the first time I wrestled him. He's always been at the same tournaments as me. It's just I think he might have been heavier than me. And sure. Yeah, but he's scrappy a little bit. He did some things that I wasn't really expecting. And yeah, I mean, I think I handled the match, but I feel like if I get that match again and I wrestle well, I could really put up some points on him. Like, yeah, I don't
get some bonus point kind of wins.
It would ever be that close again.
Sure.
So just kind of, I guess I know, looking at it, I wasn't the most impressed with the Colorado trip. What was kind of the vibe from you guys on the team on that trip?
I don't know. I just think we were really prepared. I just think that those fans really got in our head. And then when you see one of your teammates damn near get his elbow ripped off,
right,
like that messes with you. And I wanted to go to war, but me and Tanner had to go sit in the locker room for the rest of the duel. But
oh, you got moved with him too?
I was ready to go to war. I was telling him, like, you're my brother, and I don't like it when people, like, even when they were talking to the coaches, saying stuff to the coaches, and I was ready to just unleash. But yeah, they were like, just go in the locker room, stay with Tanner, you two, stick together, don't do nothing stupid. But yeah, I think it really just took us off our game plan, and then I think it kind of made us tired a little bit. And I don't know, personally, I thought the air up there was hard. It was hard to breathe, but other people say air is air.
Yeah, that's not the same.
But
there's less oxygen.
Yeah, I just think it was I don't know. It just wasn't the best trip for us. But now we got that break this weekend or last weekend, and I think we're feeling refreshed. I feel really good. I don't know about the other guys, but I feel really good. I feel ready. Don't know if we've ever beat Oklahoma State. It'd be awesome to do it at home. Like, finish out the year strong. We could be Big 12 champs.
It's totally possible.
Yes, definitely, for sure. So, some of our unattached or redshirt kids, they did some opens these last 2 weekends. One that they went to was the Pat Flash Flanagan Open. Bennett won the 184-pound class. He got all 3 pins in that tournament. Donley won at 197, and he won with 1 tech and 2 pins. They both became champions, like I said. Caleb Tennis got second at 141, and then I'm gonna butcher our heavyweight's name. Cael, how do you say that? Cael
Winia? Was it Winia?
Cael Winia?
Yeah, Winia.
At 285. Sorry about that. And he did not place that tournament.
Is it just me, or is Donley just really fun to watch? The guy is a ton of fun to watch. I think you guys got to enjoy watching that kid go too.
Yeah, we call him Slender Man.
Slender Man.
He's so tall. He just wraps around people. You think you're in a good position, and then he spladles you.
Yeah, when he got that spladle, man, that was the best. That
was awesome. And we're all going crazy, and he just stands up, acts like nothing happened. And he's just like,
yep. That's just what I do.
I'm Donley.
So we did have a question asking, Brian Thompson asked if the NDSU SDSU wrestling rivalry is as heated as the football rivalry. That's a funny question, because I would argue it's definitely more heated. That's my take on it. I don't know what your take is on it. We call it the border bell because it's been an ongoing thing for quite some time. So go ahead.
I mean, I think it's more heated because, one, we're in the Big 12, so yeah. I think it's a little. I won't get in it. But then when you have 2 grown men going, it's literally the closest thing. It's organized chaos. It's the closest thing to fighting. And when you're just having 2 guys who don't like each other, like, they could be a good person, I don't know, but they're from NDSU, so I don't like them. That's just how it is. And I think then when you get wrestling fans in there like that, that's bound to get crazy. Like, it's way more personal. I would say that. You're not.
Yeah, I think you summed it up real good there. Like, just because you're wearing green and yellow and you're from there, I already don't like you. So
yeah.
And it may not just be you, but it might be your coach too.
My personal feeling with the whole deal is football, we respect each other for being as good as they are. Wrestling, there ain't no respect about being good. I mean, these are 2 hard-nosed recruiting kids or recruiting groups that are competing against each other to recruit with no respect.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'll say that I don't think Stig would like the rival as much as he liked the football one. There's usually probably some more than holy nutmegs said.
Yeah, I got to give you guys a warning. My computer's at 1%.
Oh, shoot.
So I'll go until it cuts out on me.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time, certainly. Why don't we just jump ahead to the Oklahoma State duel? You want to take us there, Jordan?
Sounds good. Oklahoma State, Friday night, 7 p.m. I'm going to go out and say it. Oklahoma State's probably the hottest team in the country right now. They just took down number 6 Michigan on Friday night and then turned around and backed it up with taking down number 8 Missouri on Saturday or Sunday. That's going to be a barn burner. It's going to come down to, I think it's 5-5. If we wrestle like we're supposed to, it's going to be a barn burner. But I'll let you guys cover a couple marquee matchups here quick.
Well, let's get to the biggest one that we can talk about right here, and that's you, Cael, ranked at 18th, and we all know that really doesn't matter a whole lot versus this Caden Gefeller, who's 15th. Have you faced this kid before?
I think he's like a freaking 7th-year senior. I don't even know. He's been in college forever, but
still gonna go get that W though, right?
Yeah, he's gonna he's gonna wrestle hard. He's gonna hit me in the face, but feel like if I give him one back off the whistle, he might back down a little bit. I'm gonna settle him down a little bit, but yeah, I got a celebration planned out. I'm not gonna tell the coaches about it because I'm planning to fire this place up. I want to create some fireworks, but yeah, he's funky. He's really good. He's really good on bottom. I know what he does on his feet. I just got to wrestle him hard, be mean, not back down to him. I just got to expect him to punch me in the face, and I'm going to punch him back. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for it. I'm really excited.
You know, they say cooler heads prevail. I don't know that always works in wrestling. All right.
I'm not going to get too crazy though. I'm going to focus on the technique.
I know,
but I'm going to be mean too.
There's wrestling hitting in the head, and then there's punching. They're different.
Oh yeah.
I get it. But just for those people that might catch this that don't understand what you really mean.
Another marquee matchup will be at 141. It will be number 12 Clay Carlson versus number 14 Carter Young. Clay won this match 3-1 last year, so he has got a up on him. But we all know how this season is going for Clay, so this will be a big one.
I think he really needs to score early. Like him, I think both him and our buddy from Iowa, Cade DeVos, if they score early, they seem to do much better. And I think they just need to get points. Like just get points because they totally can.
Yeah.
All right. Up next is Cade, and he's wrestling the number 5 guy in Dustin Plott. And Plott won only by a couple points last year, 5-3. Again, I think if Cade just wrestles to the best of his ability and gets points right away, that kid's really good. As you were pointing out, and he has the ability to beat him, but like you said, he has to believe it. I think he just needs to believe in himself a little more, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that there could be, both Swensen here, Cael and Cade, both are right on that verge of 10, top 10 wrestlers in the country, and they just need that one big win, and both of these matches are some of them that can give them that big top 10 confidence type win. One wrestler to watch for is at 133. I feel like he's been there forever. I remember when him and Gross wrestled and everything else, but is number 2 in the country, Dayton Fix. He's the 7th ranked pound for pound wrestler for Oklahoma State, so that'll be one to watch.
And then at 197, we got a guy who's just coming in, and out there goes Cael. And there he went. All right, man. Well, thanks for being on. I know maybe you can still hear us, but we're gonna take you off screen here. So thanks for being on, my friend. And let's fix this too here. Hey. So yeah, Luke Serber, he had a 5-4 win over Rocky Elam in Missouri yesterday, and I like our chances at this one. I think we get this one. What do you say?
Yeah, I do. I think that win was pretty surprising and upset there at 197. Kid's not even ranked in the top 20. He's an honorable mention with Flo last week to come in and knock off Rocky which was the number 1 kid from Missouri yesterday. That kind of puts a question mark, but I still think that Sloan's wrestling good enough that hopefully that kid comes in and is too cocky and we can catch him, to be honest with you. So I kind of went back to my predictions this week a little bit here. If you ever listen to Han's press conference, stuff like that, he always talks about matches on paper. So for me, I kind of went through and put some matches on paper, and I think we'll win. I think SDSU should win 197 and 285. I think OSU, sorry to Cardinal and Alec, but I think that they are at this point in time better than a redshirt freshman there, and OSU is gonna win 33 and 49. I think everything else 125, 141, 157, 165, 174, and 184. They're all toss-up matches, and that way going out there, strapping your headgear on, putting your singlet up is how you're gonna have to wrestle. And I think that them are all matches we can win, and we can take this to a very, very, close duel here. My key to victory on how to get the win over Oklahoma State is going to be split the toss-up matches. We got to win 3 out of the 6 toss-up matches, and we can't give up bonus points, and we got to get bonus points.
I think, the guy that we just had on is key. We need to get a win out of him at 157. And DeVos, we got to get his win too. If T Cook does T Cook things, that definitely helps, right? I don't know that they're going to allow that. They have savvy coaches have been there for a long time, whether we like them or not. And I don't know how they're going to play that, but they're going to try and not give up those bonus points, right? 25. That's a tough weight for us. I think you have it as a toss-up. I see that one probably going versus us.
It is their 125 varsity wrestler is out, or their starter is out right now.
Oh, their starter's out now.
So,
well, that's favorable. Definitely. Like you said, we got to get 3 of those. I think 57 and 65 we can definitely. Cade King can be an animal too. If he wrestles the best of his ability, I like his chances. So, yeah. Like you said, Wrestle Stats got it as a 1-point duel.
Yep, and they got it going to OSU there.
Yep.
And this is all just personal heart right here and kind of how I feel, and we'll touch on it here in a little bit at the end, but there could be a chance that we get to see somebody sneak in at one of these weight classes that we haven't got to see much of this year due to them being a red shirt. And he is also right up there in that spot where our wrestlers are too. But yeah, I know, like you said, Wrestle Stats got OSU or Oklahoma State winning this 7-16. They got SDSU winning 20 at 125 with a decision, at 141 with a decision. They got Tanner Cook majoring. They got Sloan with a decision, and they got AJ with a decision. They got Oklahoma State at 133 with a tech, 149 a decision, 157 a decision, 174 a decision, and 184 decision. So no matter what, it's going to be a close duel. I think it's going to be.
That's why we need people to show up, get there.
We need the Frost magic.
Yeah, and you don't get better value for the dollar entertainment wise. I can't preach enough, and I know most of the people listen to us, we're probably preaching to the choir, but bring a friend, spend the extra, what is it, $10 to get a ticket, general admission? Bring them with you, sit in the general admission seat with them, and show them what a good time is, because it's going to be a nail biter.
And like Swen's dog said here a little bit ago, I don't think we have ever beat Oklahoma State.
I don't think so either.
I know since the Han era we haven't, but
no, we didn't before either.
And it's gonna be I remember I went with the team to OSU that first year, and they smoked us. And it's fun to sit back and look back 5 years later and see how we're now competing with them. And once again, that's all credit to Han. but that's preaching to the choir like always, and
Yeah,
the
and the
coaching
rest of the
and
staff as
everything.
well. So then the 12th, we have Oklahoma at 1 p.m. That's Sunday. It's senior day, which we got some seniors that we definitely are going to be missing. We got AJ, Nick Casperson, who hasn't got a lot of mat time, but is an excellent wrestler. If you're from South Dakota, you know all about Nick and his family. And they're great. Nick's an awesome dude. Cade King, obviously, was still active in the lineup, and we're really counting on him for the Oklahoma State duel. Caleb Orris, guy's been a gritty guy all along, as well as Jacob Schoen, also kind of the same, some of them glue guys that you need, and they've wrestled on and off. So for that Oklahoma duel, why don't you kick off the key matchups for us?
Okay.
Jordan?
Before that, I do want to say that there could be more, could be less. These are just the ones that I've heard from inside talking. If we missed anybody or accidentally put anybody down, this is just kind of a pending senior day deal. We apologize and thank you for your time that you've spent here. If this is your last season here at SDSU, at 125, we have honorable mention Tanner Jordan. He'll be taking on the 23rd ranked Joey Pirata. Joey won this match 8-2 last year, so Jordan will be looking for some revenge.
And then we have our guy from earlier tonight, Cael Swensen at 157, wrestling Jacob Butler. I think we get that one for sure.
Yes, and then at 184, we'll have Cade King versus Keegan Moore. King won this match 4-3 last year. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure this is the kid from Minnesota that went to the same town as Aaron. So, Aaron, you told me at the tailgate in Texas, it's Aaron, right? That's her name, Chad? Yeah.
I think so.
Yep. So,
Aaron, that comes to
you
wrestling.
told me that you're going to cheer for Keegan this match. I'm going to tell you to go to the bathroom so we don't have to see it, because we might hold it against you forever if we win this match.
Maybe we could if this happens early enough in the meet, depending on what the lineup is, we always wrestle our heavy guys last, so not the case. But if it were to happen before intermission, we could, offer to buy her a beer, give her a $5 bill, and send her for an ears up.
Yeah.
So then we're gonna have another key matchup at heavyweight, 285, as they like to say. That's our AJ Neville's and Josh Heinelsman, and AJ beat the kid 2-0 last year, both times in overtime matches, or he beat him twice, both in overtime matches. I like AJ in this matchup. AJ's been wrestling as good as he's ever been wrestling, I'd say. He's always been a good wrestler, but he's really turned up the heat these last 5-6 matches.
Yes. I think that, again, this is going to be another close duel. On paper, I have SDSU taking 157, 174, 184, 197, and I have us taking 285, but that might just be the SDSU blood flowing in my bloodstream right now, as that's probably more of a toss-up match. But I got Oklahoma only winning 125 and 149. Then I think we have toss-ups at 133, 141, and 65. And the keys to victory in my eyes is win the matches we are favored in, and then we only got to win one toss-up match, and don't give up too many bonus points.
Well, right. And we're talking about toss-up matches, and we're talking about 285 being a real close one, but that's where the fans can make a difference. And, I know it's a Sunday, but it's a little later. Get there. It's your last chance at a home duel this year. There's really no excuse. If you've wanted to catch a duel in Frost, bring your kids, bring your friends. You're not going to regret it. That's for sure. The atmosphere for wrestling's different than football or basketball. It's hard to explain, but it's a lot more intimate, even in the same arena, than a basketball game, wouldn't you say?
Yes, completely. I think that people go to wrestling and are like, oh my God, I never expected this kind of environment.
Yeah, and then if that's not enough, then after that we have the Border Bell, which I'm sure we'll have a podcast on, but that's not that far to make a trip. So
no, I
the
actually
word on the street is we might be getting something put together.
Yeah, I put out a little thing saying that, seeing if there's any interest on a bus for that. Unfortunately, I was kind of thinking I'd probably need 30 to 50 people to
Yeah,
even start putting
sure.
that idea together. I ended up having 50 some votes on my
Respond.
Twitter if they'd be interested or not, and about 60% said no. So I don't think that it's going to be put together here this year, but it's definitely something that I have in my back pocket, and I'm going to spend the summer and we're going to reevaluate that come next year when we either head to Lincoln or Minnesota for one of them duels that I think would be fun. I know we go to Minnesota. I don't know about the Lincoln. I know last year it was a one and or a home and home, but they had COVID last year, canceled our duel with them. So I don't know how that's going to work if we'll be in Lincoln next year or not, but I would assume we'll probably wrestle both them schools again, and they'll probably both be on the road. So we might put something together then, unless some people step up here in the next couple days and really say that they want to do this bus. It's probably not going to happen to Fargo, but
Yeah.
still, it's only a 2.5, 3 hour
That
trip.
doesn't mean we can't organize a caravan of people going up there.
Yep.
Reach out. I think I have someone I might be going with. Something I had lined up before the bus idea. So we'll see. I know WrestleStat has this Oklahoma duel as us only winning by a point. SDSU getting a decision at 57, a major at 65, decision at 74, and a decision at 84, and a tech at 197. OU will get on paper a decision at 125, a 133 major. I don't think that's happening. A 141 decision and a 49 major, and a decision at 285 that I also don't think is going to happen. So I have us winning this by, at least 3 points. So I think this is doable. It really depends on how beat up we are from the night before. That could factor in. Oklahoma State's a salty team.
Yes, and then just because we touched on the border bell a little bit, let's not. I'll give you a little sneak peek there. Sorry. And WrestleStats only got us winning that duel by 1 point at Fargo, so we're gonna need Austin Fargo to be loud and to help quiet their crowd a little bit and keep these jackrabbits ready to go. Because let's not forget, the horns down really originated from the wrestling team.
It did. Yeah. Well, it probably originated in Texas, but
Well, yeah, but I
I
mean,
digress.
the wrestlers are what really started throwing it back in the day. And you can even check it out. Marty
The
Mueller
Dakotas.
gets the shout out here because he's probably thrown the hardest horns down ever. And that was voted on during the national championship game that one of the Yankee boys has the second hardest ever thrown down.
There you
So
go.
that's all gonna be a fun little trip up there.
I don't know. The one that used to be in my profile was pretty good too. On my background on Twitter. Anyway, final thoughts, Jordan.
So I actually got 3 things here for the final thoughts. First off, I just want to say that since we lost Cael, he has texted me and apologized to all you guys that his computer died and thanked us for having him on. And I just want to say thank you and that he's sorry that his computer died. My second one is gonna go touch on it here quick. I touched on it a minute ago up there. I only got Bennett Berge in here for 2 weigh-ins this season so far. He
Yeah, we
wrestled
get
at the
4, right?
Soldier Salute and at Minnesota. You get 5.
5.
So
That's what it is.
does that leave him with 3 duels left? Do we see him weigh in and maybe get a match this weekend or in Fargo? Which I mean, if anybody doesn't know who he is, it's Brady's brother. He's probably our biggest recruit from that recruiting class right now. We wrestled him in Nebraska, I think, and he didn't quite have a match, but from watching some stuff since then in open tournaments, it looks like he's made the changes he needs to in college, and we could see him one of these next 3 duels. So that would be a good one to see. Also, my last thing is there's only 2 undefeated Big 12 dual teams left. So we stand at the top of the board with Iowa State and us.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
We got to have the crowd there to win this OSU duel and this Oklahoma duel and put us in the chance to go undefeated in Big 12 competition and bring home that Big 12 championship.
Well, I don't have much else to add. I think you said it all. So what do you say? We're at $1 and a quarter right there. How about to get jacked on 3?
Sounds
Ready?
good.
1, 2, 3.
Get jacked.
Get jacked.